let's say, for example, you are home insurance, okay?
Could actually you in insurance today. Everything's insurance. Hey everyone, welcome to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast, where we celebrate the S.O.B that you are, and if you haven't figured it out yet, we mean small-owned business. We don't mean S.O.B.
Listen, we know that as a small business owner, you are working hard on the daily to keep your business fully operational while trying to promote it. And while some days it may feel like the business is owning you, if we're being honest with each other, I bet you would admit that you wouldn't give up the insanity for anything.
Our commitment here at the S.O.B Marketing Podcast is to give you the real talk, what works when it comes to advertising, marketing, promoting your business, and then what doesn't really work.
And Chelsea and I promise to always keep the conversation real. Hey, Chelsea.
Hey, Vivian.
So we're back for another episode of the S.O.B Marketing Podcast. Not S.O.B, the way you guys are thinking, but small-owned business. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And if you have any topics that you would like for us to cover in the future, we are all ears.
Absolutely.
So let us know. You can email us at vivian@theseasonmarketer.com or chelsea@theseasonmarketer.com.
Or just leave it in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. We'll check those, don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and jump right in, Chelsea. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about, is event marketing actually worth it? And I love events. I love event marketing. So already I can tell you right off the bat, totally worth it. But before we start, I just want to ask you, what's your favorite event that you've ever done?
Gosh, I mean, girl, I've done so many events over the years. It's insane. I mean, think about it. Over 15 years in the marketing field, I mean, we've done an event or two. I would say one that comes to mind, well, I have a couple that come to mind, but one of them was every year we're asked to participate in a local event here at the school where they provide backpacks and school supplies for children that need it. And it is a gangbusters of an event, as in a ton of people show up. Yeah. They show up early to get in line. But what I really love about it is you see a lot of families. And Chelsea and I are both Hispanic.
Yes.
And we grew up in a family where Spanish is spoken in the household. We saw a lot of families that had children that were translating for their parents, and it just kind of pulled at my heartstrings because it reminded me of when I was younger and how I helped with some of those translations with my mom. The kids these days, too, are so smart, y'all, and it really is a pleasure to be able to participate in something like that, because I think what it does is it reminds you of the community that you're serving and the community that you're there to help and assist and represent. So that's probably one of my most favorite ones.
I love that.
Yeah, it's not to say it's not hectic, because y'all, we cannot keep up with the promo items enough. And then you also want to talk to people while they're there. So it's like this weird thing of like, you don't want to hold up a line while people are trying to get your information and your promotional items, but yet you want to make connections while you're there too. So,
and that's the whole thing with event marketing. I mean, events are so stressful, but they're so rewarding once you're done.
Well, they definitely do require planning, that's for sure.
So there are many types of events, but let's just say, main topic, let's put them all together. Is it worth it?
Right. So you want my take on it?
Yes, I do. I already said my take. Yes, it is. Yeah. But I'll explain in a second, but why don't you start first?
I think they're absolutely worth it. I think just like any other marketing initiative, the important part, what's going to make it worth it, is you actually researching to be sure that it is the right type of event for your business to participate in, and also the preparation that you do in putting up and setting up a good display that's going to attract people. And on top of it, your performance while you're there, y'all. Okay, so here's the thing. I can't tell you, out of so many events that I go to, there are vendors that honestly just look like they are in the pits.
Miserable.
Like, miserable. And I'm like, did y'all sign up to be here? Because you acting like someone forced you and held you captive to come to this event. people are going to read your energy, and nobody wants to approach you if you're being a negative Nancy, okay?
Absolutely.
Or if you basically are just sitting behind your table with your arms crossed and you're like, yeah, my brochures are here on the table, take one. I mean, you have to make a connection just like your advertising does in every other advertising channel, okay? So like
the arms crossed kills me.
And I think it just, to me, the big thing is if you're not excited about going out there and promoting your small business, then what are you doing there? Okay.
Absolutely.
Like your time is better spent being actually in your business on site or working on something, online that's going to help get your name out there. But if you decide to participate in events, you are only going to get out of it what you put into it. And that's not to say y'all don't have to have a big budget and you don't have to spend it on all this fancy stuff. People like hearing about your small business. They want to meet cool people. They want to learn about these products and services. It's about your attitude, your display, and then really you focusing on being at the right events.
Absolutely. And the right events is also really key. Now, if you're a jewelry business, don't go to Health Expo. I mean, they're not going to let you do it anyways, and that's a silly example. But my point is that not all events are going to be for you and for your small business. So make sure you're picking an event that's actually worth it.
Yeah.
And that's actually related back to your small business.
And even, all right, so let's take healthcare, flip it, right? If you're let's say you're a physical therapist, and they invite you to do this big health expo, that's fine. You can attend that. I guarantee you, for the amount of money that you're going to pay to do a big event like that, I could find you 3 smaller local events that would garner you way more leads than that one health expo. Because the other thing is, when you're picking and selecting the right events for your small business, you have to know what questions to ask, and you have to ask the right questions. I am not going to attend an event that cannot tell me how they're advertising it, how they're getting the word out about it, about how many people they plan to see there, and what other vendors are going to be there, okay?
Absolutely. And that middle one is a big one, how many people are going to be there, because not only do you want to know, is this going to be worth my time or enough people showing up, but also, if you're bringing promotional items, am I going to bring enough?
Right. Yeah.
It's a huge thing, and any event that you do should be able to give you an estimate.
Yeah, well, and to Chelsea's point, that also changes your budgeting.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what started off as like let's say, they say, oh no, it's a investment of $1,000, which is high. I mean, okay. Investment of $1,000 to participate in this event. That's not including how much you're going to spend on promo items. And so let's say then this health fair expo says we're going to have 3,000 people come. Okay, well then you want to be prepared for 3,000 people. So that changes your price point. Now you're spending up to $3,000. Is it worth for, what you have to do is the basic math. How many leads or how many people am I going to have to connect with that may actually use my product and service that is going to at least cover the cost of me doing this event? Absolutely. Whereas if you're asked to do a free, let's say, community event, and the reason it's super appealing is because it's in a particular community that your business is less than like a mile from, and it's a yogurt shop, let's say, right? And they're going to have families there. I mean, I'd be all over that all day long. Yes, it's smaller. However, they're going to put you in front of the families that you need to drive business to your yogurt shop. Absolutely. And with kids, I mean, giving them a small sample of something on site would, would probably help. So anyways, that's,
Well, and coming back to costs for small businesses, I'm sure you guys understand, like, it's not even just the promo pieces and the cost of the event, because you also need a tablecloth with your logo on it. Maybe you need to bring your own table. Do you have a folding table? How far away is it? You're going to be spending money on gas. Do you have to close your store while you're gone for the event? How long are you going to be gone? A lot of stuff goes into it, and event marketing is going to be great, and doing events are going to be great for your small business if you're taking into consideration all of the pieces and really narrowing down, is this event worth all the commitment, time, and money?
A lot of moving parts, but we don't want to deter you from considering it.
I know. I sound like I'm really, really pushing this, and I'm not. I just want you guys to be prepared.
Yes.
I'm not saying don't do it, because, again, I love events. I think they're a great way to connect with your community.
So let's tell them, though, Chelsea, since we're trying not to deter them, and we do find a lot of value in participating in events, what are the big reasons that a small business, like what would a small business get out of participating in an event?
Absolutely. Visibility, showing support, and meeting leads face-to-face.
Yeah.
And that's a big one. But I'm going to start with visibility. If there's an event going on in your community, that's where you want to be. You want to interact with the people in your community because, again, and we've discussed this many times on social media, on other episodes of the podcast, small businesses, people find small businesses to be a big part of their community and really important to their community.
And they're rooting for y'all.
And they're rooting for you. So if
for all of us, because we're a small business
yes,
too. Yes,
please root for us too. But you are a staple of the community, and they want to see you, and they want to interact with you, and then that leads into support, showing support. Think sponsorships, events where, like you discussed, you're handing out backpacks for those in need. These are events where you're showing consumers your brand personality. Coming back to branding, you're showing them who you are and what you believe in, and that's really important for branding and as a brand identity to connect with your consumers.
Yeah, it's 100%. So the other part you had mentioned where you're going out and being able to meet people face to face. There are so many times that people have really good intentions of wanting to stop in and visit your store sometimes, or inquire about your products and services, and they're busy doing other stuff, and they just don't find the time to go in and do it. You are putting or bringing that to them, right?
Absolutely.
You're at an event that they're at, and guarantee you're going to get at least one person that says, oh, I've been meaning to X, Y, and Z, to call you, to stop by your store, to look at your website, whatever it is, because people are inquisitive about it, and maybe now you're just giving them an avenue because you're like, oh, well, I'm here in front of you. Let's talk. Let's, get this conversation going.
This is absolutely great for lead generation too. When you're at an event, you should be getting email addresses, phone numbers, just contact information so that once they leave, you can connect with them again. So you're building that relationship and making sure to nurture it so that they remain loyal to you and top of mind.
Yeah, and we had talked about how many touch points it takes to reach out to someone. This is just one of those. And so follow up, getting any information that allows you to follow up with them, to have a conversation, not to push your products and service, but just to keep them in some type of like a funnel to where you're massaging that relationship over time, and eventually they will buy from you. Yeah. So the other part, when Chelsea talks about this stuff, the one thing that I'm thinking of is everything that, what determines being able to have those conversations, though, is having a creative or an engaging setup, or have it be welcoming. So one of the things that I see so much is, let's say you're doing life insurance. People will set up a table, they'll have the brochures, and then maybe like pens, and that's pretty much it. And so when people are walking by, they're like, do I really want to stop and talk about life insurance? Not right now.
They might just swipe a pen.
Yeah, and
then you're losing those promotional items to someone who's probably never going to look at that pen.
Right. So the thing you have to think about is, what business am I in, and how can I do something that's going to attract someone to bring them into my table and to start the conversation?
Absolutely.
All right. And so maybe in the example of life insurance, which is super boring, I'm sorry. That's hard. That's hard to market. But one of the things that you could do is figure out a way to incorporate a game. So I don't know if you do, maybe, you know, those big, like, not, what are they, tic-tac, the fours, Connect Fours.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe you find a way to incorporate a big Connect Four game that you buy and you put on the table and you put like your signage beside it and you're like, hey, come up and win a prize, but you put something on the little Connect Four things that when they connect them, maybe it has the different offerings that you offer or something along those lines. Anything that's going to, for one, make it fun, get them engaged, but the key being start the conversation.
Yeah.
So then what you do is you have to know how to close that loop and say, hey, come up, play my Connect Four game. Great, you connected four. Wonderful, you win this little promo item or whatever. But if you notice, we've connected these four dots, and my question to you today is, do you have these four things covered? Do you have the life insurance that's going to protect your family in case something happens to you? Do you have, like, you know, make it about that so it's a starting point for you to open the door and talk about your product or service.
Absolutely. You could also do raffles. Just make sure you are still giving them promotional items that lead back to you and making that touch point and bringing it back to you, because a lot of times when you do raffles, you kind of just, you get their contact information, but you haven't really massaged that relationship. So whoever wins gets the prize, and then you never hear from anyone again.
Yeah.
Now, again, you should also be reaching out to them too, but that might be a little awkward. It really all is about making connections and really connecting with the people.
Absolutely. Do you have a list of emails that you have collected from past buyers that is just sitting there getting dusty?
Are you looking for a way to build a long-term relationship with people so that your small business will stay top of mind for them? Want to increase your repeat sales?
For every dollar spent on email marketing, businesses receive an average of a $42 return on their investment. And with an ROI like that, can you really afford to continue to let that email list sit there and just collect dust?
Joining our Nothing But Emails monthly membership program means that you can sit back and reap the rewards of sending out monthly or bi-monthly communication while we craft the email and send it out on your behalf.
For less than $100 a month, you can capitalize on this. Start today by visiting www.theseasonmarketer.com/services. So Chelsea, one of the tricks that I like to use for something like that is connecting your raffle to a survey. And the survey has to be very brief because people don't want to stand there and fill something out that's like 25 questions long. But let's say, for example, you are home insurance, okay? You sell home insurance. Your survey could actually...
you in insurance today? Everything's insurance.
Well, give me another business.
Dog groomer.
Okay, let's say you're a dog groomer and you have a raffle for what would be a good prize.
One time I raffled like a game night. So it had like popcorn and crossword puzzles. It was for Del Webb, so it's a retirement community. So I just want to say game night included crosswords and, well, it's knowing your target audience.
That's
okay.
Right.
Beautiful
Sudoku.
pens. Sudoku was in there. A little set of playing cards, that sort of thing. It was cute.
Yeah.
It was very popular too, just saying.
Okay, so listen, let's take the example of dog groomer. You're raffling off one of those like Yeti coolers or something so that you and your dog can go backpacking, you know, whatever.
To the beach.
To the beach or
so
whatever.
Cute.
Okay. So that would be your little raffle. And in order for them to enter the raffle, they have a little card or, you know, little quarter page that they have to fill out. You have 3 questions on there, right? One of those questions, they should all be related to your products and services in some way, roundabout way. And the way you do that is you could say something about, do you currently have a pet? What is your pet's name and breed? And then how do you keep up with your pet's fur, right? And so you give them options, little check boxes. I bathe them at home, you know, I take them to a groomer, I take them to those little places that you can pop in there and clean them, like, you know,
groom themselves.
Yeah, where they groom themselves. So you give them that, and then at the bottom you could say, put your first name, last name, and your email address. Okay, simple as that. And then what you do is, great, you get all of these inquiries, people that want that prize. When you get back, you put them on, and now at the bottom you have to put some verbiage about, we'll be able to communicate with you or whatever. You go back, you put them on this little email list, and then you send them based off of what they've told you. For the people, you create 3 different audiences. For the people that are grooming at home, your message could be, hey, do you want to try a dog groomer? Because maybe you've never tried one, right? So here's a special for that. Or you give them tips on, dog grooming tips at home, right?
Yes.
So you learn to massage those relationships. Now, it's going to be a little different than the person that's taking them to a dog groomer somewhere else. Maybe what you do is you send them a follow-up survey on, like, tell us why you like your current dog groomer, right? And then you find if there are any gaps that they're not getting filled or whatever,
Absolutely.
So,
and that's a great example of segmenting your audience.
Yeah.
Putting people, so you've gotten all of these leads, don't just send them all the same information, because they're not all the same. They don't want all of the same things. They're different groups. So you put them in those groups and you send them curated information that's going to match up with the group that they're in.
Absolutely. Now, okay, so going back to what participating in a fair or an event will actually do for a business too. Chelsea hit the nail on the head when she said it puts you in front of people. There can be times where we are so focused and in our own little world of running a small business that we don't get out enough to hear what people are wanting or what types of questions. This is a great way. If you participate in these events, this is a great way to get material for your FAQ section on your website for your frequently asked questions, okay? Because even something that is so simple, people will ask you all kinds of stuff. I mean, when we talk about healthcare, if you're doing physical therapy and you think that everyone just knows what a physical therapist does, go to a community fair and people are going to ask you, like, legit, they're going to be like, do you offer massages? Do you do microneedling? Do you do acupuncture? I mean, these are all things that in real time you get to see what types of questions and inquiries people have, and then you could utilize that information to really build up your website and to get some of those answered on there. So it helps in other areas of your small business too. But I 100% think that participating in events is well worth it if you do it the right way, if you take the time to plan, if you are going to do the follow-up that is required.
Absolutely.
This is not, so many times I think people see it as an afterthought. Yeah, I'll participate in this event. Okay, well, the more preparation you do, the more you could take advantage of the real opportunity.
Absolutely.
How many of you, if you have done events, how many of you take the time to stream live while you're at the event? How many of you actually tell your Facebook followers, your Instagram followers, your TikTok followers that you're going to be participating in this event, right? Or how many of you are e-blasting it out to also just say, like, to your people that have bought from you, like, if you're a crystal shop, you're participating in an event, how many of you are sending out an email blast 3 days in advance to say, hey, if you guys have nothing to do this Saturday, come on out to this event. We're going to be there selling X, Y, and Z crystals, and we would love to, show you our new collection or whatever. Gives you an opportunity to promote your business yet again. And like Chelsea said, it also does this thing where they're like, man, they are engaged in the community. Right?
Yep, exactly. So bottom line, events, worth it. Absolutely. If you go about it the right way, you're going to get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah. And recap, so what's interesting is Chelsea and I have actually been working on a project, and we hope that this is a starter conversation too. If you guys are either I'm a small business owner who has never done an event, but it's intriguing to me, and I feel like it could be beneficial to my business. If you're a small business owner that has done events and you're like, I don't get much out of it, but I see other people selling, like, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong, right? Or you're a small business who does events, but you're like, I'm just not super creative with my setup and I feel like I could do a better job. We are going to be launching a course that is for you, and it's called Rock Your Fair. And so if you are interested, we have a landing page that is set up and you guys can go and get all the information on it. But this course is basically going to walk you through every single one of these steps. Everything from setting up a creative display to how you want to engage people while you're at the event to then what to do in the follow-up.
Yep, the post.
So if you want to know, any of that, then please just go and check out we'll link our website down here below for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that's it. That's the pod.
It. Yay. Well, go out there, rock your event. You're going to do great. Don't worry about it.
And be the best SOB you could be.
You can be.